Hey, what's up, Choom Gang? Welcome back to another Choom session. My name is Sophia, and I'll be your host for today's Learning and Burning, along with a special guest that will be joining us in just a moment. But for those that don't know, Learning and Burning is a segment where we invite some of our very own Choom Gang members with expert cannabis knowledge to help us answer some of our questions and teach us all about our favorite plant, one topic at a time. And of course, we're going to be giving away some Choom branded swag. And all you need to do to enter is to just react to this video. Give us a thumbs up, give us a heart. You guys know I like to see those hearts, so let us see it. And that's it, you're entered. But if you do want some extra entries to really hone in on some of that Choom swag, all you have to do is answer the questions we're going to be asking you guys throughout the session. And all the details are going to be in the description. So good luck, Choom Gang. All right. Okay. Now let's get to some learning, shall we? Today, we are going to be talking all about dabbing. And to help us with this topic, we've invited a very special guest. So please help me welcome an extremely knowledgeable educator, the manager of Choom Niagara Falls, and a Choom Gang OG, Leonard.
Hey, what's up, Choom Gang?
Hey, Len Dawg, Len Dawg, how are you doing?
Good, good. Thanks for having me on. Can't wait to talk a little bit about dabbing. So definitely, it's great to be here.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get into it. It's gonna be awesome. And I mean, okay, and I want to give a shout out because Len Dawg has been with us since our first Choom store opening, and not to mention the first cannabis store in Niagara Falls. Period. So Len, please tell us about yourself and how you got into the cannabis space.
Hey, Choom Gang. Yeah, I definitely been a long time avid user of cannabis. First time ever using cannabis goes back to hanging out with my friend Joey. We grew up in Chippewa together. It's the south end of Niagara Falls. My first time actually smoking cannabis was smoking roaches. So we stole some roaches from our buddy's mom and was hid behind the school and rolled them up and smoked them. And that was my introduction to cannabis, and it was love at first puff. Uh,
Love
and
that.
from there, definitely it made me almost an avid user right out the gate. So I definitely started smoking cannabis on a regular. Led into me, finding the best flower out there that I could get my hands on, which led me along the path into concentrates eventually. And I definitely love smoking dabs. It's definitely something that I find that works for me. And it's definitely something that I notice a lot of people are now getting into, that it's in the legal industry.
Totally. A total connoisseur, let's call it. Well, okay, so let's talk about what we're here for. So let's get into dabbing. And like first things first, like what is dabbing? Like can you explain what that even is?
So dabbing, just the breakdown of it, is the inhalation of concentrated cannabis, and it can be consumed on a dab rig, a vaporizer, an e-rig, so electronic rig like a Puffco or like a High Five Duo. There's a lot out there in the market, but definitely dabbing is just the inhalation of concentrated cannabis.
Awesome. So that's super, super concentrated cannabis. And so what are, the benefits or, even the difference from dabbing to smoking weed, the dried
So
flower?
So for smoking to dabbing, I would say the biggest benefit is when you dab, you're not inhaling all that plant matter and carcinogens that you do get in the dry flower. Definitely, it's super potent for when you do a dab compared to your flower. You might have to smoke a large amount to get the same effect that you would out of one small little dab. So, hence they say a little dab will do you. And I would say for me, I just like, in terms of when I'm on the go with dabs, I like the discreetness of it and just the convenience of it to try and get the high I'm trying to achieve without having to, smoke down maybe like a half ounce at a time.
I don't know if many people can do that, but I believe that you could. But yeah, so basically, we know that dabbing is a super, super high concentrated form of weed. It's a little bit cleaner, the combustibles. But so who would dabbing be for? Like like if somebody was just like straight out of the gate, hasn't tried weed, like should they try dabbing, or is it kind of more lended to that like high tolerance, like more of like a regular consumer?
So I would say that out of the gate, I wouldn't recommend dabbing for like a first time user. I definitely say it's a progression over time for people who've been usually using cannabis for a while. They notice that their tolerance may be getting very high. So they're having to consume large amounts of flower or other edibles, whatever it may be that their consumption method be. And then they kind of transition, which I personally notice it happens in the store a lot. People want to try from maybe a pre roll to dry flower, then they're into vaping, and then eventually it kind of reaches they're into trying diamonds and live resins and shatters and all those good concentrates we're now finding in the legal market. So definitely, I would say it's for somebody who's not just coming right out of the gate. We kind of want people to go low and slow and find that spot that they want to find that they're comfortable with, and then from there they can at least introduce themselves into other different concentrates and products that they feel that they would like to try as well.
Totally. So definitely going low, going slow for concentrates, 110%. But Choom Gang, all right, I've got a question for you that is going to count towards a bonus entry for some of that Choom swag. So here we go. Have you ever dabbed before? And if you have, like, what was your first experience like? I know my experience was not the nicest, so that is why we are really honing in on this education, because we want to make sure that you guys are cultivating good times always and always having a good experience. So I know for me, it was like dollar dabs back when it was like black market, and couldn't feel my legs, had to sit down for a couple hours. It was pretty, not enjoyable, but so I can only imagine that if you're like a first time user going straight into dabs, that would be a very scary, scary, scary experience. What was your first time like, Len?
For me, honestly, when I first tried dabs, I was again like an avid smoker of dry flower. I was smoking like really large amounts of the time on my first dab. But I happened to be at a 420 rally in Toronto. I believe it was like 2010, 2011. And I headed out to Vapor Central after the 420 event. And I was sitting in there with my friend, and these two people were sitting beside us, smoking dabs, which I was looking over my shoulder, like, what are they smoking? And I noticed that every time they were taking a dab, the smell of it was just unbelievable. So I eventually made my way over to their table. I was like, guys, I love weed. I don't even know what you're smoking over here. I got to know about this. So they definitely were like, yo, pull up a chair. So I pulled up the chair, sat down. They put a little dab of wax in like a handheld pipe, which is kind of like a yokan. It looked like at the time. I wasn't aware of it. And literally, they took a hit. I took a hit off of it, and I honestly greened out. I was supposed to go meet people in Toronto that night. I literally got back to my hotel room and passed out. And my friend that I was with at the 420 event actually ended up partying with my friends that he didn't know. He was loving it. He had a great old time. For me, it was like super, super, just a crazy high, and it just made me like hit the sack. But after that, as soon as I woke up, I was like, I definitely want to try that again. And where do I get that?
Love it. I mean, if it's the time to try it, I guess a 420 event is definitely that time. Awesome. All right. So if you're like wanting to get into dabbing, like what kind of accessories do you need to start?
So what I would say is that you can go really basic, just to get into the entry level of dabbing. You don't have to jump into like something new as a Puffco or High Five Duos or really high end glass.
Yeah, and they're
Um,
expensive, right? So like you need to like love dabbing, I think, in order to like, get one of those to make it worth it.
Definitely, I would say that you can go into your local head shop. You can get a nice clear piece of glass that's just very convenient. The rig is the most important part to begin. From there, you're going to need a banger. A banger is the actually full piece that you're going to heat up and let cool down to a certain temperature so you can activate those certain terpenes and cannabinoids in your dabs. It's very low temp tech, so you're all about preserving the terpenes in it. Outside of that, once you have your dabber that you would collect your dab with on the end and put into your pipe, you just need your Q-tip and also maybe a torch. So from there, once you have your torch, your concentrates, your rig, and your carb cap and banger, you're ready to jump right in and take your first dab. Definitely, there are some newer ones that we've seen in the market. Like I have here, like the High Five Duo. It's just like a Puffco, and it's an electronic dab rig. So you don't have to heat nothing up. You literally set your temperature on the side. You hit go. Once it vibrates, you're ready to take a hit.
Super
Um,
easy. Yeah.
so definitely we've seen a huge progression in at least the time that I've been dabbing, from like the beginning of tie nail, domeless nail, now onto to quartz bangers, and now into like terp slurpers. So terp slurpers are like you see here. It's a modified banger where uh, you have your marbles or your terp pearls that they call them that fit in there, and you literally put your extract at the bottom of it and you just inhale. And once you slurp up through the actual marbles, it will help cool down that extract and help actually activate it. So I love it. It's such a nice terpene profile when I do dabs through a slurper or a blender, which were kind of like the newer techniques of it. But definitely you can go old school with titanium if it's what you have on hand. But I would always say, from what we've kind of learned through the progression of dabbing, is you want to preserve the terps. The terps are really important. The cannabinoids, definitely, you don't want to burn those off at a high temperature. So definitely going at low temps is the key ideal for dabbing, I would say. And it's very minuscule. Don't let it overwhelm you with by the amount of things I have here. But it definitely you can do with very minimal accessories.
Yeah, definitely. And now, yeah, and like you said, that there's those electronic versions, there's the handheld ones. Like I know I've got a Yokan right here. Super simple. I mean, like I'm newer to dabbing, right? So, and I love the convenience of this. I can just throw it in my bag and go. That's awesome. And so, for dabbing, like what are the kind of products that we can find?
So what I've been seeing in the legal market now is I've been seeing shatter. I've seen which is like a glass type like structure to it, hence the name shatter. When you go to break it apart, it will shatter like glass. I've seen waxes and crumble, which are more like a butter consistency, a little bit more drier, so to say. There is also live resins, which is a butane extraction, a BHO extraction, but the extraction is more of a flash frozen starting product, so definitely preserves the terpenes and cannabinoids in that.
Here, you can kind of see it. I've dipped in there a few times.
There you go. And there's also other ones that I've been seeing, like rosins, flower rosin, or also live rosins, which are like a bubble hash rosin. So some people call it a live hash. It can also be made with dry flower or keef as well. So the last one I would say that I've just seen recently coming into the market is diamonds, like a high terpene concentrate, full concentrated extract. There's also the high cannabinoid full spectrum extract, what we're seeing. So the diamonds would be considered a high cannabinoid, and then the sauce that the diamonds sit in would be considered like a high terpene full spectrum extract. So those are some of the newer ones that I've seen on the scene. Definitely some of the ones that I've definitely tried myself.
Yeah,
um, but definitely there's a little bit of everything for anyone. If people don't like to be finicky with their dab, there's also different textures that you'll find through rosins or live resins that might be easier to work with compared to like shatters, that when you go to hit it with your dab tool or your dab wand stick, that it might not grab it as easy. So definitely some people prefer other consistencies over others, but
yeah,
definitely I would say that it's to one's each own. And I noticed there's almost like a progression of it where some people try shatter and they're into wax, live resins, and live rosins and diamonds. And then some people just go where they like solventless extracts, or they like carbon extract, hydrocarbon extract, which is like BHO, propane, and CO2. So definitely, it's a little bit of everything for everyone. It's just kind of finding what concentrate that you like and what kind of consistency that you like as well.
Totally. And there is quite a big variety that I think is pretty surprising to a lot of people that are, new to cannabis. So that's great. Yeah. And if you guys ever have any questions, definitely shoot us some in the comments section here. We can answer them to the best of our ability. But definitely when you're coming in store, ask the educator about what would be the best concentrate for you and kind of, see what matches up with you best. All right, guys. I've got a question for the Choom Gang that's going to count as another bonus entry. And it is, what would you like to try? Like, is there anything that's kind of like sparking your interest so far of like trying, is it diamonds? Is it the rosin? Is it the shatter? Let us know in the comment section, and that is going to count towards an entry. All right. And so currently, Len, like what are your like favorite products in store right now?
So I definitely would say my favorite products that I've tried recently would be my lineup right here is definitely like a good representation. I have the Graybeard Diamonds, which is definitely one of my favorites
Graybeards
for a
are
heart.
doing some great stuff. Hey, they're like even just their flower, it's beautiful.
Afghani Drifter's been really good. They've had their live resin vape carts and now their diamonds and sauce, which have been phenomenal. One of my absolute favorites that I've tried is the Big Coin, so the live fruit. Uh,
Oh,
Unbelievable. I know it's a Hindu Kush. It's super terpy. As soon as I opened up, it just punched me right in the nose. Definitely when I grabbed it, everyone was like, "Oh, what is that?" And it literally just had like the jar peel. It was super nice. Another really good one I've seen as well is the live resin. That's by San Raf. The Pink Kush was just recently dropped. Super sugary consistency, but very like sweet, gassy taste on it, and like
like
very
that
relaxing
pink
body stone.
kush. Oof, yeah. The
Yeah,
smell of that one, incredible.
definitely one of my favorites. And the other one I would mention is the Blendcraft Shatter, but also the new Quest Gems and Juice has definitely been one of my favorites as well.
Awesome. Love it. Yeah, like I said, this is basically the OG Chem Dog. That's been my favorite so far, but Pink Kush is one that I really want to go in and try for because yeah, it's one of my favorite strains. That's awesome. All right. Well, we have basically made it to the end of our session, Choom Gang. So thank you so much for watching, guys. And if you have any dabbing related questions, make sure that you ask us in the comments section. And Len, thank you so much for being here and just dropping this knowledge on us. It was a pleasure to have you.
Awesome. It's been really awesome to talk with you guys about dabs. And now I'm going to head out and do a big fat one myself.
That's amazing. I love it. All right, guys, until the next one, Choom Gang. We'll see you then.